Well, hey there everyone. Looks like we finally made it to my toy room collection video. I don't know if I've talked about this on the YouTube. I've probably mentioned it on Twitter, but I've been trying to reorganize my toy collection and kind of get things sort of polished so I can do a nice toy room video. Because my experiences with collecting toys has been a little all over the place recently. I started collecting toys when I was very young. I kind of just like went from like playing with toys straight into now I'm going to put them on a shelf, I'm going to make them look nice. And so I guess after a while I just kind of like, I got so much shit accumulated. I got sick of it, and plus I was like moving a lot at the time. This was like maybe around, it's like 2013 to 2016, things just got kind of crazy with not being super stable, so it was like, I need to just get rid of this stuff. So I started selling a lot of it. And then when I finally did kind of get to a point where I could start kind of accumulating things again and getting back into the hobby, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to or not, so I would kind of get stuff and then I'd sell it again after it started to accumulate. But recently I was like, I miss doing this. I like having a nice setup. I like just being able to look around and be like, wow, look at this neat crap. I love it when people come over and they look at it and they're like, wow, what a nerd. Okay, you're probably sick and tired of listening to me talk. You just want to see all the crap, right? That's what we're here for. Cool. Let's do it. Let's get into it. All right, let the tour begin. I guess we can start with this thing. This is just a little rack. The intention was to put comic books on this thing, but I don't really have a ton, so I just they're just at the bottom right now. There's some sort of horror sci-fi anthology, a lot of Spawn, really into the Spawn. I don't read a lot of comics, especially ongoing stories, but this is probably one of the few exceptions right there. These are the ones that come with the action figures from the first line of Spawn figures. I don't want to get too into this. Got Albedo and some Furlough. Anyway, yeah, some furry shit, yeah. Puppet Master. I'm pretty sure this is just like a self-contained story and a million times better than some of the more recent movies they've been doing. Maybe they should just take some notes from what's going on here. That'd be nice. Creeps, like a kind of Tales from the Crypt inspired horror anthology. There's like some monster magazine. So that's neat and fun. Got some plushies, kind of taking up the rest of this. So this is Disney's Headless Horseman right there. A very cutesy-fied version. These are kind of like fall Halloween-ish kind of plushies, mainly right there. And then just some other random plushies up here. Got this one in West Virginia at the Mothman Museum. So that's a little Mothman plushie. How could I resist? I don't want to highlight every single thing we're going to see in here today. Like this is nonsense. I don't need to talk about that. But here's a McDonald's Dr. Octopus figure. I don't have a lot of Marvel stuff. That's actually the only Marvel toy that I have. I'm not like a huge Marvel fan. I used to be really into Marvel when I was in middle school. So it's like when I was like a little kid, I didn't really care about many superheroes. But then in middle school, when I started doing like the Spider-Man movies that Sam Raimi did, or the X-Men movies, I kind of started to get into Marvel stuff pretty big for a while, and then it just kind of tapered down. And you know, now like the movies are just like excess. Like I can't even keep up with them. But Dr. Octopus, just to get back on the point, Dr. Octopus was one of my favorite characters from the Marvel kind of universe. Definitely my favorite Spider-Man villain, so I made a point to get that. You know, I'm kind of in the process of rebuilding this collection, so things are not as full as I'd like them to be, but that's okay. Like I said, we're just getting started here, kind of getting back into the groove. But as I do get more stuff, I do want to maybe get a few Marvel things, but mainly I want to get like older stuff, like early 2000s and older would be kind of my preference. So this is 90. I think this is from the animated series, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% on that. You got to be a little particular, otherwise collections just get out of hand. You know, if you just get anything and everything, you gotta put your foot down somewhere. This cute little witch decoration I got recently at a Pride festival, so that's neat. She was like $20, I think. The whole day I just kept walking past her like, should I get that? Should I get that? Then obviously I eventually caved. I recently did some customization of this shelf here. I painted some spider webs on the side. I was like, that looks like a spider web shape. I should do that. So hopefully that doesn't look like shit. I'm happy with it. Really complements all the spooky things we got going on here. This shelf is pretty much all model kits that I've painted. I think model kits are some of my favorite things to collect because you get to customize them yourself, do your own paint job. Or even if you get one that's pre-painted and you don't want to like redo it or anything, I mean that's still like a unique paint job. You know, each one's going to be a little bit different. But this one is a Haunted Mansion one. This is most of these model kits are reissues, but originally this one was from the 60s, I believe. Sold as a Haunted Mansion kit. And they recently reissued it, but they didn't use the Haunted Mansion name. They called it something generic, like Haunted Manor or something like that. But it's the same kit, you know, and like you can look at, this is the guy from the Haunted Mansion in like the ballroom scene. That's the mummy. Yeah. While we're at it, I don't want to get too ahead, but I got another one of these Haunted Mansion kits right there. Again, this is a reissue. It's not officially Haunted Mansion, but it's totally the Haunted Mansion. It's one of the hitchhiking ghosts right there. And then this guy, you can't see him, but that's the executioner character. So they're actual characters from the ride. But I guess they couldn't do a deal with Disney for the reissue, so they had to be sneaky about it. But either way, that's a really cool looking kit right there. Got the Forgotten Prisoner. That's originally, again, most of these model kits were originally released in the 60s. These are all, unless I say otherwise, these are all reissues from more recent years. So, the Munsters. That was a fun one to put together. Lots of details on this one. Got the Salem Witch. Again, a lot of fun details on this one. I made these custom labels for her bottles. I just cut out pieces of paper and glued them on. Got bat's blood, pus, and I think the other one is slime. Yeah. Can't. No, worms. It says worms. She does have another jug that says slime up there, though. So this witch was actually the first model kit that I did kind of during the pandemic when that hit. That kind of got me back into doing models. I kind of took a long hiatus from the hobby, and I guess when the pandemic happened, I was like, well, I got some time to do stuff, so I guess I'll do that. Then here's one I did recently. The Godzilla's goat cart. This is a goofy one. I love that. People beware. This is part of a whole line of like monster characters driving hot rod cars, and they're all very cartoonish and goofy and have Just delightful little details on them. This Seed of Chucky poster, I'm pretty sure, if the information is accurate, this was actually used in movie theaters to advertise the movie, so that's pretty cool. I would love to get an actual frame for that at some point, just to kind of preserve it a little bit better. It's getting kind of beat up around the edges. You can see it's a little rough in some spots. While we're at it, I'm not a huge VHS collector specifically. I know some people get really hardcore about that, but I love just the aesthetic of having some VHS tapes, and you know, got them right by the TV VCR combo, of course. So we got some Godzilla, Hellraiser, a bunch of Texas Chainsaw ones, Invisible Man, another Godzilla one. I want to show this one because these are like iconic right here. The Universal Monsters Classics Collection. These were, I think, released late 90s. All the Universal Monster movies were being re-released on VHS with these covers. Just kind of had like the monster of the movie on the front. They're all kind of uniform, but still like actual artwork that was done for these. And I don't know. That's just fun. I like that. Here's one of these I think it's Final Faction, is that what these are called, from the Dollar Tree. Pretty ambitious action figure line. I mean, it's the $1.50 tree now. Is it the or the $1.25? Yeah. $1.50 will be next. That'll be the next big disappointment in life. But yeah, so this figure was $1.25, and then the vehicle was $1.25. That's still like, for such a cheap price, you're getting some cool stuff. Like, if I was a kid, I would have been all over these. Okay, let's get back up here. So that's the Haunted Mansion kit I showed you already. Got some Universal Monster plushies, Beetlejuice mug. All of my like large mugs that I own, I'm currently using for like either display or some sort of like function other than drinking out of. I don't really need massive mugs to drink coffee out of currently. Up here, I gotta stretch my arm out now. We got some vinyl model kits from Screamin'. That's the name of the company, Screamin'. In the late 80s, early 90s, they did some really cool model kits based on modern horror characters. If you're into like figure model kits, it's mainly based on my observation. You're mostly gonna find stuff from like, I guess like baby boomer era kind of stuff, if that makes sense. Like stuff that generation would have grown up with, like Universal Monsters, or like kind of like 60s sci-fi comic book kind of stuff. You're not going to find a lot of like these kind of more, they're old now, but I call them the modern horror characters. This was one of the few situations where these characters were made in the model kits. I think it's because the hobby of model building mainly appeals to the baby boomer generation, and not so much like, would this be like, I guess, more Gen X maybe, that kind of got into this stuff. I get very confused talking about generations and like what's the time frame for each one, but whatever, you know what I'm saying. I feel like the hobby didn't catch on with younger generations as much, so that sucks. But anyway, it's cool that we got these. These are pretty hard to find. These are probably some of the most valuable things I have in my collection. Did a whole video about the Leatherface, trying to restore him. He's had a crap paint job, and the chainsaw is completely custom made. Try getting one of those with the chainsaw and you're gonna be spending quite a fortune. This goofy Matchbox toy. Just like to have a mix of random fun things. I like it when I have a guest over, they can just kind of look around and just be impressed by all the bizarre crap that I have. I don't keep a lot of Halloween masks on display, but some of the nicer ones I will display. So got the Michael and the Frankenstein right there. I got more I'll get to in a minute. Van Helsing figures and a playset from the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. And those are both from the same director. Love the Mummy. Van Helsing's a fun movie too, I guess. It's pretty stupid. It's a very stupid movie, but kind of fun. I'm not even going to apologize for it. There's another model kit. That one is a reissue of a 60s kit, but this version has neon plastic, so I didn't paint it. You're not supposed to paint these ones. You're supposed to leave them like that, and then they glow in a black light. Or if you put them in the sunlight, they kind of glow that way too. It's sort of a neat effect. Dracula plushie, a McBoo bucket. I love my fast food promotions. It's just a creepy clown hanging out in the back there. Here's some more Halloween masks. These are creepypasta characters. I got Jeff the Killer and Laughing Jack. These aren't as nice as those two. Those are like tops right there, but these are still pretty cool. This is kind of just like a Halloween corner. I mean, I tried for a while to keep Halloween stuff put away during the off season just to make it more special, but I don't know, it's just too ingrained in my my essence, my being, my personality. These two things are Dollar Tree items, like the ghost and the witch there. They used to make noise. They don't really work anymore, but they feel like they're like just cheap dollar store crap when I got them, but like this witch, I don't think they make this anymore. I think they still might do the ghost, I'm not sure. But like, these almost like they almost have like some value to them now. Like, crazy Halloween people such as myself might pay, you know, more than dollar store prices to get those now. I don't know. Got the set of these classic Pez dispensers. I don't want to get too crazy with Pez dispensers. I know there's a lot of Halloween Pez dispensers I theoretically could get. I just wanted to stick to these three. Those are just classic. I don't know. Got one of the newly released Boglins. This is like just like another dollar store piece of crap right there, but that comes off of like a candy corn tube. You know what I'm talking about? That's the kind of stuff, if I run out of room like that, I'll just throw that in the garbage. Like, it's kind of worthless, but it adds a little personality right now. Got a wind-up toy that doesn't work, so that's cool. This is one of the only vintage blow molds that I have. I would love to get more of these, not just for Halloween, but like Christmas and really any holiday, I guess. Mainly Halloween and Christmas. Love those things, they're just neat. Some random Halloween things. That ghost in the middle was a candy tin. It had like 3, what are they, Mike and Ike's, I think they are. Yeah, like 3 Mike and Ike's in there. One of these are like battery operated witches. She makes noise and lights up. She does that music that's like, if you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, you just, sorry. But she's one of those. I think she's supposed to move, but I don't think it works anymore. But that's cool. I think that's like from the 80s, maybe early 90s. I'm not sure exactly, but she's still got the original box. It's a little rough, but it's there. So that's cool to have. And it's funny too. This was just like, we got a neighbor that used to live across the street, and he just like came over one day because he knew that I do the Halloween stuff. So he just kind of, I guess he was cleaning out his garage or whatever. He just brought that over, asked if I would like to have it. And I was like, yeah, please give me that. So that was really cool. That was just a nice little thing. I got more of these I'll show you in a bit. These Puppet Master wall decorations. I always see them at Horror Hound. There's this artist that makes these things. He does all kinds of stuff. He has like Valentine's cards, and you know, like these ones are Puppet Master, but he does like other movies as well. There's, I don't know, just an artist making neat merchandise. And I love Puppet Master, which we'll get to more Puppet Master stuff soon. Here's a Corpse Killer poster. That is a terrible dog shit video game, but me and a friend of mine played that years ago, just kind of for a goof. It's like one of those 90s games that has like live action footage cut into it. It's just very laughable and goofy, and it was recently released for what is I think the Switch. I'm not hip to video games, so bear with me here, but it was re-released for the Switch, and it came with this poster. I almost feel like he just bought it ironically, but either way, he gave me the poster, and I was like, I'll get a frame for it. Nothing remotely this cool is in the video game, by the way. It's actually a double-sided poster. There's another image on the other side, but I can only display one at a time, so sorry about that. These are just cute. They're very Halloween-y, very cute. I'm about it. I'm about that life all the way. Crypt Keeper, Greeter, whatever you want to call this thing. This is from the 90s. I got this for $5 at a flea market. Somebody didn't know what they had. This is awesome, and it still works. Like, I didn't have to replace the bulb or anything. I bought it for $5, brought it home, plugged it in. Holy crap, it works. We've got some other random figures here. Mostly Mego. I've been really into the Mego stuff, you know. I know there's a lot of cool stuff coming from NECA and McFarlane and all that right now. But I kind of just like bypass a lot of that. I just go straight for the Megos. They're cheaper. I don't know. That's a big thing. They're cheap. Like the NECA figures are more expensive, and they're not that much cooler in my eyes. Like, yeah, they're more detailed, but I don't care. It just doesn't justify the price. Got Gene Wilder and Peter Boyle there from Young Frankenstein. Got The Fly. That movie scared the crap out of me when I was very young. It kind of disturbed me more than anything. The scene where he's stuck in the web. Like, wow, that was some fucked shit. Got the Hammer Phantom and the Red Death Phantom. In the very back are some Sideshow figures from the Universal 8-inch line. This is like a generic werewolf. Got a Metaluna mutant there. That's a piggy bank. Now we're going to get to everything I have in this cabinet. This is kind of the bulk of the collection. Try not to go in depth on everything in here, but let's just go ahead and open that up. So more of the Sideshow Universal Monster figures in here. I pretty much have the whole set, like the main 15 figures from that line. There are color variants, but I didn't get into that. I have the Jack in the Box Universal Monsters from the fast food chain Jack in the Box. They did six toys in total, and then they came back 1 or 2 years later and did another 6. So the ones I have right here are the original 6. I have some NES games. You're not going to see a ton of video game stuff, if I'm being real. I don't even have a device to play those ones. I just thought they would look neat, I guess. I know this one, the Jekyll and Hyde one, is infamous thanks to the Angry Video Game Nerd. And Phantom of the Operas. The Phantom is my favorite of the classic horror characters, so I tend to like gravitate towards getting more of him. These I got more of the Jack in the Box figures here from the second series. Got a Tiger Electronics game. Those are, it looks cool, but they're just god awful. In the back you can see I got a box of the Valentine's Day cards. So that's a neat little unique thing. Got the Burger King figures. These are, everybody loves the Universal Monster Burger King toys, right? Like who doesn't? These are classic. Those are iconic. This Dracula might be one of the most expensive figures that I have. I don't know if I want to admit how much I spent on that or not, but I'll just say it was a lot. And I got these cute little things from the Dollar Tree. I had to hand paint those. And then down here there's a witch. Oh my god, that's kind of sticking a little bit. I wanted this shelf to be more modern, contemporary horror. So we got like Scream, the Movie Maniacs, Leatherface. I have a lot of nostalgia for this line. It was something I really got into when I was first starting to collect stuff. I gotta have at least a few of those. That's just important. Oh, so there's too much stuff to talk about down here, so I'm just gonna let you look. These are the only video game figures that I have right here. Well, actually, there's another one down below. We'll get to that in a minute, but this is the first Poppy Playtime. That's the first video game that I ever finished from beginning to end. If that tells you anything about how often I play video games. So yeah, I'm not a huge video game enthusiast, but I'm getting there. I'm finding some things I enjoy. Got a McNugget buddy. That's important. You gotta have at least one McNugget buddy. And everybody's gotta have at least one Funko Pop. I do have another Funko Pop coming up later, but yeah, I'm not huge into those, but I wanted at least a few for representation. Got some Lego figures in here. Yeah, I don't want to point out everything, but there's a good mix of random things. This I will point out. This is an 80s Freddy Krueger figure. I did a video talking about this. Basically, the gimmick was this was a special effects guy, something like that, or a secret agent. I forget what the gimmick was exactly, but basically it's just like a normal doll that you can dress up, has different monsters. But the only one they ever released was the Freddy Krueger one. Like, they were going to do like Dracula, Frankenstein, you know, some more common things, but they started with Freddy Krueger, which was a little controversial because this was before the adult collector market. This was marketed for kids. Yeah, I mean, even today, I think it's a little sketch for kids to be watching A Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, some parents are more laxed about it, which, as long as the kid is fine with it, cool, but back in the 80s, that was definitely a no-no, so that kind of killed the line. They didn't make any more after that. Do you mind? So we're gonna have a little bit of background noise right now, but that's okay. We're gonna just keep going. We're gonna muscle through this. This is my Batman shelf. There's not a ton of comic book things that I go out of my way to collect. I kind of mentioned earlier, like, I'm not a huge Marvel fan, but I do like a few random things. I think overall I like Marvel more than DC. Buddy. Okay, so I apologize if there's a little bit of noise pollution coming in now. I kind of had to open the window because my cat decided while recording was the best time to take a poo. So, fun. But back to what I was saying. So, I'm not a huge comic book fanatic, but I do like Marvel more than DC as a whole. But overall, Batman, which is a DC property, I love the shit out of Batman. Just a huge Batman fan. I guess I shouldn't say I'm a super huge Batman fan. I haven't read a ton of the comics, but I love a lot of the movies. I've seen all of the animated series and other random things. And despite not being the hugest video game fanatic, the Batman Arkham Asylum was the first video game that I played that I was like, oh, I get it now. Like, this can be fun. And it's not just frustrating. I mean, it was frustrating in parts, but mostly it was fun. Cesar Romero Joker model kit right there. And I'm trying to get it to focus. This was a neat model kit because it came with a lot of customizable options for the arms. Like, you could have his hands kind of collapsed together, like he's doing like maniacal. You can't really, you know, like, or you could have both of his hands open with joy buzzers, or you kind of do what I did. I kind of did a little half and half. For my Batman collection, because, you know, it's just a small shelf right now. It's not like I didn't want to dedicate a huge amount of space to this. If it grows big enough, then I'll expand, but for now I want it just to be this shelf. So I wanted there to be a good variety of not just different characters, but different pieces of media. So, you know, we got like the Joker, Two-Face, Scarecrow, got Killer Croc, and, you know, there's Batman right there. So different characters, but it spanned across, like, got like the 60s show, Batman Forever, Batman Begins, then the video game. So different pieces of media just to kind of represent a good span of Batman stuff. I feel like if I was going to, like, specifically search for something next, I want to find at least 1 or 2 figures from the animated series. I don't have anything from that yet, so that feels like it's kind of missing. So just give you a quick gloss over. And this is just the coolest thing right here. I'm doing everything one-handed, so I probably can't. Let me switch hands. Yeah. The two-faced coin comes with the figure. I used to have this toy when I was a kid. I thought it was so fucking cool, flipping this thing around even though I could never catch it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, next, keeping in tune with the comic book stuff, we got the Spawn collection. So I already mentioned Spawn is one of my favorite comics that I actually somewhat keep up with. I haven't read every issue, but I've read more Spawn than I have any other specific series of comics. So pretty into this one. I love the aesthetic of. I read one of the newer ones, and it feels like it's not as cool. It's kind of lost a bit of its personality, but the older stuff had a, I don't know, just like very dark, but had certain colors that popped. I don't, very neat. Spawn is just fucking cool. I don't know. This one right here, this little play set, I'm probably going to do a review of this in the future because this is neat. It's got a few little features. This is kind of like a little puppet, basically, but this one's from the movie. The movie was kind of hot garbage, but in a fun way, so that's neat. This is actually some artwork that my cousin did. She's a tattoo artist, so that's cool right there. I don't have a lot of stuff on the card still. I'm more interested in actually displaying figures how they were meant to be. I know that's a controversial take, but bite me. But I do like to have a few things in the box. The box can still look pretty cool. So this is another Movie Maniacs figure. Like I said, I showed you the Leatherface down there. So this one's Norman Bates from Psycho. I guess I used to have this figure out of the box for years. So I guess like the thrill of being able to hold and touch it is just kind of like whatever now. So I just left it in the box. I don't know. And it looks nice right there. Just kind of hanging there. This balloon light is kind of neat. That is actually official It 2017 merchandise. I know you can't tell just by looking at it, but yeah, that is officially licensed from the 2017 version of It. Got a Jason mask up there. I don't have any Jason figures right now, so that's kind of like my Jason representation. Like I've said, I'm getting back into the collecting, so I don't have all the stuff. I mean, you'd have to like spend thousands of dollars to kind of get back to where I used to be. So I'm not going to do that. Next, we got the bookshelf over here. I love my books. Got some Stephen King and some other random things. I feel like I could do a whole video just looking at the books. I don't know, there's just something fun. Look, free when you buy Folgers. Vacuum or flaked coffee. Wow, you know. That's amazing. Let's squeeze that back in there. This is a neat thing. This Charlie from the Dent Schoolhouse. That is a haunted house attraction we have. Kind of local, kind of around where I live. This is like the mascot of the haunted house, so they were selling these at the gift shop, and I was like, yeah, I need that. Got the guillotine model kit right there. Did a video talking about that, so if you want to check that out, I guess you can do that. I like just like these like cheap kind of spooky toys, just kind of in the little corners and stuff, you know, just chilling. Got mostly more books here. They're just kind of stacked, like there's so many, you know. This is more of a toy focused video, so we're not going to get into all the books, but I'll gloss over them as we go. And this is a War of the Worlds Martian model kit. I love the look of these little things. I think this is a very underrated design. I think people are too quick to say these are goofy looking or whatever. Like, that's cool. I like the little suction cup fingers and the little slug bodies. Just got random little things spread throughout. More books. The spider chilling up there. This is the only manga that I've ever read. I forget it's backwards, right? What's it got? Junji Ito. So I might look for more of him. I enjoyed that. Not a big anime fanatic or anime, manga, all that stuff. Just not super into that. This is kind of different though, so that's something I could probably get into. I'm trying to be more broad with things I like I said, I'm trying to explore the video game medium more. I've been trying to look at like anime and just anything else that normally I wouldn't check out. I'm trying to just be more adventurous with life. I think that's something I recommend, being more adventurous in life. It was Vincent Price that said, "A man who limits his interests limits his life." And if you try something and you don't like it, that's at least you tried. That's good enough, right? I know I did a video on this before, but there's my Puppet Master trunk. So yeah, the trunk was basically all custom done. It was like a camera case that I gutted out and made look like that. And then those are all like the 90s Puppet Master figures. Most of those I've had since I was a child, actually, so those are some of the few things I managed to keep around for this long, so that's neat. And then I got a Beetlejuice figure right there from the 80s. Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies, so you might be seeing quite a few Beetlejuice things popping up. Some more model kits. I got a glow-in-the-dark King Kong, and then I got this massive Godzilla right there. Things are pretty random along this wall. Got a Ghostface mask. Got that delightful thing from the Dollar Tree. A+. I tried to make this kind of like my Black Cat section, so it's a lot of spooky Black Cat stuff. Got a Oogie Boogie hanging out above there. Just a bunch of random stuff. This is Charlie from the Dent Schoolhouse again. I showed you the bust earlier. That's a keychain. Like one of those like voodoo doll, I think they call them keychains. And then this is a Spirit Halloween keychain. They did these keychains based on their animatronics. I don't really want to pull this out right now, but I got one of these Ninja Turtle Universal Monsters. This is the Frankenstein one. Raphael's Frankenstein. This is currently with the only like NECA like detailed figure that I have. I liked the Cult Classics figures back in the day, if anybody remembers those. I liked those. I'm not super into a lot of the newer stuff they're doing. Because like I kept the box, but I take it out occasionally. That's the only compliment I have right now. Is the boxes are nice. You can take things out and then put them back in. But when I take them out of the box, they always feel so fragile. Like they're gonna break or something. I don't know. I don't like that. Figures used to feel sturdier. I don't know. Got this Loveland Frog figure. That's the box he came in. This came from Japan. Actually, I had to order this from Japan. But the Loveland Frog is a cryptid spotted in Ohio. So me being a Ohioan, I naturally needed to get that. It's kind of neat that our local cryptid is popular enough that in Japan they made a figure out of it. So there you go. The Boba Fett bobblehead. This is the other Funko that I have. Not a lot of Star Wars stuff, but I got some things here. I got the original trilogy on VHS. So that's pretty neat. Some Goosebump books and other books. I got a lot of books. This is a Phantom of the Opera computer game. I had more fun with that than I was expecting. It was kind of neat. It's kind of like a point and click game, which I didn't think I was going to really give two shits about, but whatever. Got the Universal Monster DVD set. Gotta have all of those. Those are precious. This is my camera from the mid-2000s. I got it in 2006. Got a great story about this camera. I don't think I may have told this story before, I can't remember, but I sold this camera at a yard sale in like maybe around 2014-ish or so. And then I sold it to these people that like they buy and sell stuff. That's what they do. So they were buying a lot of stuff at my yard sale for cheap so they could resell it. And I actually, years after that, I guess I came across, there's like this big, like I guess you could call it like a mass yard sale where people set up in a parking lot. I guess I found the same people. They had my camera. This is like not the same model, but this is my camera. And I know because there's like paint marks on it from stuff that I did. Like I recognized all that. It's like, oh my God, that's my camera. At first I was like, hey, this is the type of camera I used to have. And then I looked at the spots. It's like, that's my camera. So I bought it back for $2. So that's neat. It's just some random junk. There's no rhyme or reason to anything over here. It's just randomness. Mr. Freeze. Prank ice cubes. You can't, there's a dinosaur in the way, but they're like ice cubes with flies in them, you know. Got some Lego stuff. I want to get some more Lego stuff. Like some Pirates specifically. Lego Pirates was always my favorite Lego line, so I'd at least like a small set. I don't want anything large. I outright, even if somebody said, like, hey, here's the Lego pirate ship for, you know, 99 cents, I'd be like, where am I gonna put it? I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if you can see it. This is a guy I met at a horror hound. It's Freezer Mortis. He is a horror movie host, I guess. And I kind of like to collect autographs from horror movie hosts. I'm not big into autographs specifically, but horror movie hosts or just kind of like these more sort of like quirky characters, not really like big celebrities or anything. I like that for some reason. I just started getting that. So technically speaking, I have 3 horror host autographs as of right now, which I'll get to eventually. Some McFarlane Monsters, Hunchback, Silent Screamers, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Got Phantom of the Opera model kit. This one is kind of dark. Look at that. It's that guy in the cellar with his flesh picked apart, probably by the rats. This kit was originally sold in the 60s, so just that's what our boomer generation grew up with. So that's awesome. Sometimes boomers are kind of cool. I know we like to give them flack this day and age, and a lot of times it's called for, but sometimes they're cool. The Jaws Hot Wheel. Freddy Krueger glove. So I did get to meet Cassandra Peterson and got an autograph from her. She was super nice. So that kind of started the horror host autograph collecting. I got hers and this guy's in the same day. His was free. He just kind of signed this little card and gave it to me, which is nice. In hopes that I would check his show out, which I kind of did. I got distracted pretty quick though. But yeah, I don't know, if you want to check out, what's the name of the show? The name's kind of cut off, but Freezer Mortis is the host if you want to look him up, I guess. There's a Creature Walks Among Us poster. I don't think that's an original or anything. I just found that at a flea market. Came in the frame and everything. $15. It looks cool. And then here, I guess I technically got another horror host autograph from Mr. Lobo. I bought some merch from his online store, and he included that handwritten note, which is just, I kind of like it when creators do that kind of stuff. It's nice. I appreciate it. So those are the only horror hosts that I have signatures from as of right now. Anyway, I got this Skeletor painting. That's, again, my tattoo artist cousin did that. And she did this, because my cat is named Boris, so she had Boris Karloff as Frankenstein holding him. How cute. I love that. That's a nice thing about having artists in the families. You get that kind of like nice little personalized artwork. I was at a haunted house attraction that had like stores, kind of like booths and stuff set up, and I bought this from an artist there. Just a cheap little print, but it looks neat. Beetlejuice Laserdisc. That's the only Laserdisc I own. I don't have a Laserdisc player. I have this rusty thing. What is this, like for shucking corn, I think? I don't know what these things are called, but I bought that as a prop for a video years ago, and I just kind of decided to hang it up. I got a framed Netflix envelope. This is pretty much just the box. Most of the pieces are not in there, but this is the Hangman game with Vincent Price on the box. The box is in terrible condition, but it was free. One of my cousins had that, and I was asking her, what are you going to do with that? And she said, you just have it, I guess. So, yeah. It's a neat conversation piece. Just got it hanging up there. Down here, I got this while I was in New York years ago at a antique mall. This is a Nightmare in Wax movie poster. This is, once again, an authentic poster that was actually used to advertise the movie in theaters. I assume this was either used at a drive-in or like a grindhouse kind of theater. Now you might be wondering, well, Nightmare in Wax, is that a good movie? Should I check it out? Absolutely not. It's fucking terrible. But it's a cool poster. It's got Cameron Mitchell in it, so I don't know if you're a Cameron Mitchell fan. I used to not know who Cameron Mitchell was. Even when I bought this poster, I didn't really know who he was until I started watching Red Letter Media on the regular. He's a common name that comes up there. This is sort of my miscellaneous shelf. Mostly kind of cutesy stuff, because as you can tell, I'm mainly into the spooky horror thing, so I'll give you a good look at this. This is just some cuter things that I like. I really like specific cartoon things, and I'm really into like fast food memorabilia or company mascots. Yeah, I like that stupid corporate shit, I guess. I got some of the McDonald's Transformers. Love Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese stuff is hard to find, but that's a big part of my youth. I used to love just staring at those animatronics. So mesmerized by them. Can't really talk about every single thing because there's so much, but that's just a little look at that. I want to eventually get a bigger shelf for this. Just miscellaneous section. This was the only shelf that I could find as of now. Here's another Mego figure. This one's in the box. You can take it out and then put it back. It's like the NECA figures, you know, just open it up, take them out, fiddle with it, stick them back in. But that is the Mole Man from the 50s Universal film. It's a pretty good movie in my opinion. Here's a Dracula model kit. This one is not a reissue. This is from the 70s. This is a first release of the glow-in-the-dark version of this kit. The original version came out in the 60s. The glow version is from the 70s, and that is authentic. Unless I've been led astray, but I'm pretty sure it is. And this is not my paint job. This is like probably some kid back in the 70s did that. So I decided to just leave the paint. I could, if I wanted to, refurbish it, but I don't know. I think it's neat to just have that original paint job. There's a few other random things here. I'll just show you those. I got this witch painting thing, whatever you want to call that. You flip a switch and it lights up and the witches cackle. It's kind of neat. That is a Toxic Avenger piece of custom artwork, I guess. me and my cousin, we were at the flea market years ago, and there's this guy who was, I guess he was like an artist or something. I don't know if it was like professional or what. I think he did work as an artist doing something, but we were just talking to him, and he was drawing that. He had like a sketchbook with him. He just started drawing this, and then he signed our names on it, gave it to us. So yeah, that was just kind of a neat thing that happened. And we got this frame for it, so that was fun. Not a lot of trauma merch in the current collection, so that's kind of a nice piece of representation for that. I do like trauma. This is just a giallo horror poster. Nothing fancy there. There's an art print from an artist. I don't know if they still sell prints or not. I'll put a link if they do. Okay, I think I kind of covered pretty much everything. I don't think I have any more stuff, or at least nothing significant worth talking about. So that was my toy collection. Thanks for watching.